Hello students, I Mrs. Madhavi Mhatre welcome you all in the next lecture of Mathematics 1. I hope all of you are doing well at home. We are studying chapter number 2 quadratic equations, and in this we have come to an end of the chapter and we are discussing problem set 2. In that we have completed up to question number 9. Now let us go towards question number 10. So here question number 10 is omitted. It is under the reduction in syllabus. So take a note of this. Since this question is based on the relationship between the coefficients and the roots of the equation, this question is not there. It will not be asked in the exams. So you mark it. Now let's go further. Question number 11. Mukund possesses rupees 50 more than what Sagar possesses. The product of the amount they have is 15,000. Find the amount each one has. This is an easy question. So this question you are going to solve as homework. Okay. You can take help of the first statement to take the unknown thing. Okay. Here you want to find out the amount with Mukund also and amount with Sagar also. But now what to take as X, that you have to decide by reading the first statement. That is Mukund possesses rupees 50 more than what Sagar possesses. Okay, that means here the amount with Sagar is less and amount of with Mukund is more. So you can take amount with Sagar as rupees X, and from that you can write down the amount with Mukund as X plus 50 rupees. Okay, now you can read the condition. The product of the amount they have is 15,000. That means here the multiplication of both the amounts, that is X, and the amount with Mukund is X plus 50. So X inside the bracket X plus 50, the multiplication or the product is 15,000, and from that you can get the quadratic equation by opening the brackets, and then you have to write it in the standard form, and then you have to factorize it. Okay, so this is an easy question, so all of you will try to solve it as homework. Okay, let's go further. Question number 12. The difference between squares of two numbers is 120. The square of smaller number is twice the greater number. Find the numbers. Okay, now this question is little bit different. Here the conditions are given in the form of squares. Okay, so here we have to think accordingly. Here we have two numbers, one number is smaller and the other number is greater. Okay, so let us start with this, that the bigger number we are going to take as X. Why we are going to take bigger number as X? Because the square of smaller number is twice the greater number it is given. That means what? Here the square of smaller number is given in the form of greater number. That is why we are starting with greater number as X or the bigger number as X. Always read the statement and decide what to take as X. Okay, here we cannot take smaller number as X. Okay, then here it is not possible for us to decide the greater number. So since the square of smaller number is given in the form of greater number, we are taking the greater number or the bigger number as X. Now from this we can write down the square of smaller number. Okay, so we can write down that the square of smaller number is here in the form of greater number. But the first statement here, the difference between squares of two numbers is 120. That means the square of bigger number minus the square of smaller number is 120. Okay, so that we can write down that square of bigger number minus square of smaller number is 120. So here square of bigger number we can write as X square, and from that we can find out the square of smaller number. Okay, So see, square of bigger number means x square. Square of smaller number as it is. And then it is equal to 120. Now from this we can get the term square of smaller number which we want here in the given condition. Okay. So this 120 we can shift here and square of smaller number we can shift on right hand side. So square of smaller number we will get as x square minus 120. Okay. Once again see, the bigger number we have taken as x. Now they have given us that the difference between the square of two numbers is 120. That means the square of bigger number minus the square of smaller number is 120. So x square minus square of smaller number is 120, and from that we got square of smaller number as x square minus 120. Now see, x square minus 120 means what? The square of smaller number is twice the greater number. That means 2x. Now from this we can write down the equation easily. That according to the given condition, what we can write is x square minus 120 means the square of smaller number. Then e stands for equal to, and twice the greater number means what? 2x. Okay. Now let us write it in the standard form. So we can write it like this: x square minus 2x minus 120. Okay, so this will be our standard form. Now after this we have to solve this quadratic equation. So we have to think of factorization method. Here the last term is negative. Here you can see minus 120. So we are going to think of two numbers whose multiplication is 120 and difference is 2. And from that, the sign of bigger number is minus. Why? Because the middle term is minus. So the two numbers we can find very easily, that is 12 into 10. 12 tens are 120, we know. Okay. So the bigger number is negative. So how we are going to split this middle term as minus 12x plus 10x. Okay. So we got the two numbers as minus 12 and plus 10. So let us write down the next step by splitting the middle term. Okay. So the next step here is x square minus 12x plus 10x minus 120 is equal to 0. Now in next step you have to group and take out common. So first group these two terms and then the last two terms. So here what we can find is x is common and here 10 is common. So let us write down that common outside the bracket, and then here see, from these two x is taken out common, so inside the bracket we have x minus 12, and from these two we have taken out plus 10 common, so inside the bracket we have x minus 12 is equal to 0. Now let us write down two separate brackets as the factors. So the factors are x minus 12 and x plus 10 is equal to 0. Then the next usual step that we are going to go for either or, either the first bracket is 0 or the second bracket is 0. That means x minus 12 is equal to 0 or x plus 10 is equal to 0. Okay. So here from this we will get x is equal to plus 12 or x is equal to minus 10. Now here always you know that we are getting only one answer. So we have to discard one answer. So we have to check for the condition. We have to check for the square of the smaller number. Here, this is our bigger number, either this number or this number. But here in the question, the word natural numbers is not mentioned. That is why we cannot simply discard this x is equal to minus 10 by saying that it is not natural, because here nowhere natural word is used. So we have to find the square of the smaller number that which we have used. Okay. So let us find the square of the smaller number in case of x is equal to minus 10. If we take x is equal to minus 10, then the square of the smaller number, which is x square minus 120, that is going to become minus 10 square minus 120, that is 100 minus 120 is equal to minus 20. See, this denotes us the square, and we know that square is never negative. So we can say that here square is never negative. Therefore, x is equal to minus 10 is not acceptable. Okay. And from that we can write down that the value of x is 12. That means the bigger number here is 12. Okay. So we can write down x is equal to 12. Now let us find out the smaller number. See, the square of smaller number, we have x square minus 120 and x we are taking as 12. So 12 square is 144 minus 120, and therefore the square of smaller number is 24. Okay. Here we got square of the smaller number, but we want the smaller number. So here the smaller number can be plus root 24 or minus root 24. All of you know that every square has two roots, one positive and other negative. So we have to think of both the roots here, either plus or minus. Okay. And from that we can write down the numbers as either the numbers will be 12 and plus root 24 or 12 and minus root 24. Okay. So that is why I said that this sum is little bit different. So all of you please write down it and try to understand it. Okay. Now let's go further towards the next question. Question number 13. Ranjana wants to distribute 540 oranges among some students. If 30 students were more, each would get 3 oranges less. Find the number of students. Okay. Here only one thing we have to find out. So it is very clear that whatever is asked, that we are going to take as x. So you are going to start with let the number of students be x. It's very easy because only one thing is asked. So there is no question of deciding that what to take as x. So here let the number of students be x. Now see, total number of oranges are given. They are what? 540. So from these two quantities, means 540 and the number of students x, we will get the number of oranges that each student is going to get. Okay, so from this we can write down the number of oranges that each student will get. That is total number of oranges divided by the number of students. So every student is going to get 540 upon x, these many oranges. Okay. Now here let us read the next statement. If 30 students were more, means what? The number of students now, they are going to become x plus 30. And then the students, they are going to get 3 oranges less. Means what? These are the number of oranges with each student and minus 3. Okay. But total number of oranges are going to remain the same. Okay. So that way we can write down that if there are x plus 30 students, then the number of oranges each student will get is equal to, that is 540 divided by x minus 30. See here, the number of students are what? 540 upon x. Here, that in the previous case, when the number of students are x, that time the oranges with each student is equal to what? 540 upon x. And here when the number of students are x plus 30, that time the every student is going to get 540 upon x plus 30 oranges. Okay. And difference between these two is how much? 3. Because in the new case now every student is going to get 3 oranges less. So we can write down the number of oranges with each student in both the cases, and then simply their subtraction is 3. Or the second way you can write down is that when the number of students are increasing, that time here the number of oranges are minus 3. So you can write down minus 3 here, and then product of these two will be 540. That way also you can write, but that will become little bit complicated while solving. So instead this is easy, that you find out number of oranges by each student in both the cases, and then simply you write down the subtraction and is equal to 3. Okay, but you need to understand that the number of oranges in second case they are less, and number of oranges in the first case they are more. So here 540 upon x minus 540 upon x plus 30, that is equal to 3. Difference between these two quantities is 3. By reading this statement, we can write down the equation this way. Now here you will observe that 540 we can take out common. So you have to take 540 common. Okay, so let us take out 540 common here. So 540 is taken out common, and therefore inside the bracket we got 1 upon x minus 1 upon x plus 30 is equal to 3. Now here in the next step, this 540 we will shift to right hand side. So it will come in denominator. So here you will get 3 upon 540 in right hand side. At the same time, you can go for cross multiplication here. All of you know that whenever we want to add or subtract the fractions, that time we need to equate the denominators, and we are going for the cross multiplication. So here the next step will be like this. See, x plus 30 into 1 is x plus 30, and minus x into 1 is x, and in the denominator we have to write down product, and this 540 is shifted in the denominator, that is 3 upon 540. Now see here, we can divide here. 54 is divisible by 3. You know that 18 threes are 54. So here we will get 1 upon 180. And here plus x and minus x will get cancelled. So here 30 will be left in the numerator. So our next step is this. Okay. 30 upon x square plus 30x. This bracket is open. Is equal to 1 upon 180. Now let us go for cross multiplication again here like this. Okay. So when you cross multiply, you will get x square plus 30x is equal to 5400. 18 threes are 54 and 2 zeros on that. Now this 5400 you shift to left hand side so that you can write down the quadratic equation in the standard form, that is ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. So our quadratic equation is x square plus 30x minus 5400 is equal to 0. Now the next part, an important part, is to factorize it. We have to split this middle term. So here you have to find two numbers such that the product is 5400 and the difference is 30. See, the last term is negative, that means we are going to think of difference. Okay, now what you do is you forget these two zeros and these zeros also. Only think of 54 and 3. Two numbers whose multiplication is 54 and difference is 3. So very easily you can get the numbers as 9 and 6. 9 6 are 54 and 9 minus 6 is 3. To be more specific, we have plus 9 and minus 6. And then now this 0 is there. So keep 0 on each number. So the numbers are 90 and 60. Plus 90 and minus 60. Okay, so we can split this middle term as plus 90x minus 60x. So our step is x square plus 90x minus 60x minus 5400 is equal to 0. Now take out common. From these two we can take out x common, and from these two we can take out minus 60 common. See, minus sign also we have to take out common. Okay, so when we are taking x common here, inside the bracket we will get x plus 90, and when we are taking out minus 60 common here, again inside the bracket we are going to get x plus 90. Okay, so now the two brackets we will get as x plus 90, and in another bracket we will get x minus 60. Okay, so the factors for this polynomial we got as x plus 90 and x minus 60. and we are going to write equal to 0 in front of that. Okay, so x plus 90 into x minus 60 is equal to 0. And next, now the usual step, we have to go for either or, that either x plus 90 is equal to 0 or x minus 60 is equal to 0. Therefore, x is equal to minus 90 or x is equal to plus 60. But see what x denotes. X denotes the number of students. And then we can say that number of students cannot be negative. That is why x cannot be equal to minus 90. So write down this statement with proper reason that x cannot be equal to minus 90 as number of students cannot be negative. And therefore, x is equal to 60 is the correct answer. And then for the word problem, you know that the final answer we are going to write as a statement that therefore the required number of students or the number of students here is 60. Okay. So this way you are going to solve the question. Now see these questions which are challenging one, they are going to come for 4 marks. But it is very much important to understand whether you are going to solve it by using two variable, that means by using the linear equations, or you are going to use one variable, that means you are going to solve by quadratic equations. Okay, so read question carefully and decide accordingly. Okay, and for that you need a lot of practice. Let's go further now towards the next question. Question number 14 here. Mr. Dinesh owns an agriculture farm at village Talwel. The length of the farm is 10 meter more than twice the breadth. In order to harvest rainwater, he dug a square-shaped pond inside the farm. The side of pond is 1/3 of the breadth of the farm. The area of the farm is 20 times the area of the pond. Find the length and breadth of the farm and of the pond. Okay, so here we have to find three different things. We have to find the length of the farm, then we have to find out the breadth of the farm, and we have to also find the side of the pond. Got it? Now the farm is rectangular. Okay. Then inside that rectangular farm, he dug a square shaped pond. So two geometric figure we have here. First is rectangle and other is square. And here the condition is given in the form of area. So first of all you need to know the formula of area of rectangle, that is length into breadth, and the area of the square means side square. Okay, the basic formulas which you have studied from quite lower standards. Now here, out of these three, means length of the farm, breadth of the farm and the side of the pond, what to take as x? You have to decide that what should be taken as x. So for this, you read the statements. See, the length of the farm is 10 meters more than twice the breadth. That means the length of the farm is given in the form of breadth. Also, the side of the pond is given in the form of the breadth. So it is very clear that we have to take breadth as x meter. Okay, so decide accordingly that we should start with the statement that let the breadth of the rectangular field or the rectangular farm be x meters. Now from this we can write down the length. See, the length of the farm. Okay, that means the length is E stands for equal to 10 meters more, means plus 10, twice the breadth. So 2x plus 10. Okay, so we got the breadth and the length. From this we can write down the area. You know that area is equal to length into breadth. So the area of the farm is x into 2x plus 10 square meters. Don't forget to write down the units. For breadth we have used meters. For length also here you can write down meters, and the area is in the form of square meters. Length into breadth, area of the rectangle. So 2x plus 10 inside the bracket into x. Okay. So now the next thing is to write down the side of the pond. So side of the pond is 1/3 of the breadth, means what? 1 upon 3x. So we can write down that the side of the square pond is 1 upon 3x meters. And from this now we can write down the area. Area of the square pond is side square. That means square of this 1 upon 3x the whole square. So that will be 1 upon 9x square, or you can write down x square upon 9 square meters again. So now we know the area of the farm and we know the area of the pond. So by reading the condition, we can get the equation now here. See, the area of the farm means this 2x plus 10 into x. E stands for equal to 20 times the area of the pond. Means what? 20 into 1 upon 9x square. Okay, so easily we can write down the equation now. This term will come on left hand side, then equal to, then 20 into this term, that is 1 upon 9x square. Okay, so in this way we can write down the equation. So we can write according to given condition 2x plus 10 into x is equal to 20 into 1 upon 9x square. Okay, now here you can open the bracket. And here you can write down 20x square upon 9. So your next step is like this. 2x into x is 2x square and 10 into x is 10x. And here 20x square upon 9. Now again you can go for cross multiplication here. Okay. So the next step will be like this. 9 into 2x square is 18x square. And 9 into 10x is 90x. And here you have 20x square. Now see, 18x square and 20x square, they are like terms. So let us shift this 20x square this side, or you can shift these two terms this side. Okay. So if you write it properly, you will get it like this. 90x here and 20x square minus 18x square. So 20 minus 18 is 2. So here the answer is 2x square. So if we write it properly, we are going to get it as 2x square minus 90x is equal to 0. Now here, either you can divide by 2 first, or directly also you can take out 2x as common. And then inside the bracket you will get x minus 45 is equal to 0. So from this we will get two terms, that either 2x is equal to 0 or x minus 45 is equal to 0. So from this we will get x is equal to 0 or x is equal to 45. But see, x denotes the breadth of the rectangular form. That means it is a length. It is length of a segment, and that is never negative. So we have to write down that the length is never negative, and that is why value of x cannot be 0, and therefore the acceptable value of x is 45. X cannot be 0 as breadth of the field cannot be 0, and therefore we are going to write x is equal to 45, and from that we can get the length, that is 2x plus 10 as 2 into 45 plus 10, that is 90 plus 10 is equal to 100. So we got the breadth as 45, the length as 100, and also we have to find out the side of the square pond, which is 1 upon 3x. So that is 1 upon 3 into 45, that is 15. So we got all the three unknowns. Length of the rectangular form is 100 meters. Breadth is 45 meters. And the side of the square pond is 15 meters. That is your final answer. Write down it as a statement that therefore length of rectangular field is 100 meters and breadth is 45 meters. Also, length of each side of square pond is 15 meters. Okay. So in this way you are going to write down the answer. I hope you must have understood this. So try to solve the sums, practice them regularly. Also do the given homework. Now you know that since the chapters are reduced, you have very less portion, and you have a very good chance of scoring out of marks here. Okay students, so today I am stopping here. We will meet in next lecture. Till that, you stay home, stay safe, take care of yourself. Thank you students.